Sean, we're closed for podcasting at the moment.
I think we're live now, but who knows?
We're barely alive at the best of times, John.
Barely
You've got
alive.
your hand over the lens.
I know.
See, this is what you get when you meddle with young people's media.
I'm starting to move like an old person. Hello.
Comedy.
Comedy. Anyone out there, hello, but you will be out there anyway. And it's going to be a catastrophe, this. Okay, so this is the Grouchy Club podcast. It's Sunday the 10th of May.
Are we recording this?
We're recording this,
Wow.
we are, for posterity, and we're trying it on Periscope as well.
How fantastic.
Which will be a terrible disaster.
I'm very excited.
We can't see anything, and it's going to switch off halfway through.
As in up Periscope.
As in up Periscope and up anything else you want. So Copstick has now returned triumphantly from Kenya, where she was for 3 weeks.
3.5. Yeah, I'm not sure about triumphantly.
Went to the fringe, 3.5.
Oh, it feels like I've been away for years. But the burning question is, has anything of note at all happened while I was away?
Nah, a bit of a backache there, I don't know what that is, but yes, nothing. Everything's just been normal.
Okay, well that was my big idea for the podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
talking about.
There's been what's it called? An election. There's been an election. Yeah.
An election.
Yeah.
And who won?
I don't know. They elected a royal baby. I wasn't really following the
God,
news.
that is the only thing that made the papers in Kenya.
The election.
No, the royal baby.
Oh.
Which I suppose was the result of an erection. Comedy, folks. Comedy. It was there, and pictures of her in a white frock.
Her?
What's her name?
Boris Johnson.
What's her name? Catherine.
Catherine, you should know.
Oh, I know. They called her after me, you know.
I know. Was it Catherine Elizabeth Diana? Because they figured they couldn't really call her Princess Diana.
They've called it Diana.
The third name is Diana because they have to get it in there somewhere. But they can't call her Princess Diana because it'd be a terrible weight around her neck for the rest of her life.
Absolutely.
She'd be looking over her shoulder in
It's such
taxis.
a skanky name, though.
What, Diana?
Diana.
You just turned off half the population. Why?
Only half? That's unlike me, John. Normally it's 3/4. I just think it's a... Well, I remember there used to be a girls' magazine, a little girls' magazine called Diana.
Well, better than calling
and Jackie. And
better than calling her Beano or something.
I thought you were going to say Beatrice.
Oh.
That would be quite nice. So, yes, now I was...
Anyway, so how was Kenya?
Well, it was... Well, just at the... in the interest of cheering up all the many people who hate me out there, I was gang mugged on a bus. Well, a matatu, which is like a minibus, into which they squeeze as many people as they can. So I was gang mugged.
How do you get mugged in an enclosed space crowded with people?
I think somebody has, maybe Michael Legg has been in touch with the Kenyans. And so I got on this bus, probably about 40 people on it. There was one, I should have known, there was one seat right beside the door, empty, and 4 men standing. Now, that is just never going to happen in Kenya. Men standing so that women can sit down. It's just not... I should immediately have thought, I'm about to be gang mugged, and just handed over my laptop then and there. But I sat down, and almost immediately, because the matatus stop, you basically just step out into the middle of the road, wave your arms, and if they've got a spare seat, they stop. Or run you over, indeed. But this one stopped, got on, sat down. We went about 2 yards, and one of the standing guys took a step forward and dropped his keys in my lap. And I thought, oh dear, he's dropped his keys. Picked them up, gave them to him. See, well brought up girl. Mm-hmm. And then he went, oh no, there's coins. And he kind of went like this. So he pinned me into, like this means he put his body across mine, pinned me by my shoulders into my seat. And then it was like the world's least erotic gangbang, because there were hands everywhere. Because there was 2 other guys who were... The guy who sat beside me obviously was involved, because he just turned his back and let them get on with it. So there was 3 guys actually with their hands everywhere. I had phone in my pocket, so I was grabbing my pockets and pulling my jacket round me. I was grabbing my bag and trying to hold it closed. Meanwhile, I was kicking, aiming for some Kenyan, nutsack, and shouting, you know, this idea that help, thief. And nobody blinked. I say, probably Michael Legg's been involved in a Kate Copstick campaign in the slums of Nairobi. Nothing. And to be fair, they weren't punching or anything. It was more like being in a group tickle, except that the stakes were higher than that because I thought they were going to get everything. And I had my passport in my bag because I was on my way to M-Pesa to send some money for a grant to somebody, and I had the money for the grant. So I was kicking and yelling. So again, it must have been about 2 minutes. The Makanga, the conductor, kind of went, they jumped off, and I went in Swahili. I said, stop them, thief, they've got my laptop. And he just said, "Twende," which means let's go, and the bus sped off. So obviously the Makanga was in on it as well. And I was sitting there, rumpled, but unscathed. And I had my phone, had my bag, had the money, had the... So could have been a lot worse. Laptop gone. Now, those of you who are glued to my blog, metaphorically speaking, it's on Facebook, it could be technically very messy if you did glue yourselves to it.
It's on the Mama Biashara Facebook page.
Yeah, not that you would know, John, as you don't read it. I can feel the foundations of our relationship cracking.
I like Michael Legg. He's a very nice man.
He's a brilliant comedian. I'm quite gutted that he hates me so much, because I think he's brilliant. Anyway...
I don't see what's wrong with him.
There's nothing wrong with him. He's brilliant.
And?
He just hates me, that's all.
I don't see what's wrong with him.
Oh, very funny. Yeah, sorry, it took 2 goes to get that one. Anyway, so... where was I? Yeah, those of you who are glued to my blog will know that the laptop had been a disaster from day one. Hence, the lack of podcasts, Grouchy Club podcasts, while I was away, because I couldn't get the laptop. The laptop wasn't working, then the Wi-Fi wasn't working, then I couldn't get Skype downloaded. It was just horrendous. So, I mean, the one bright thing is the thieving cunts that stole it have got a laptop with no battery. The mouse is very dodgy. It's, you'd be faster, trying emailing on it, you'd be faster with a pigeon. And so, I mean, they will rip it apart, and it does have a new hard drive. Grrr.
So have you got all your work backed up somewhere?
Do I look like a girl who backs up?
Well, I've heard rumours.
Only if I'm very drunk. So no, I didn't. But what that laptop, because of course it had already died and it got a new hard drive, what it had on it were 6 of my diaries, my blogs, and the already rejected script for a French porn movie.
Already? Why was it rejected?
Oh.
Well, we should establish you're not a newcomer to the French porn movie industry.
Absolutely not. No, I'm delighted to say I've been working in and around the professional porn industry for quite some time. In fact, at least 50% of the money that started Mama Biashara came from porn. And it's, given that I've rendered myself, for various reasons, pretty much unemployable within the television industry, the only way I get to make money these days is the occasional porn script, which pays 200 quid. But,
For how
that
long?
buys a lot of pot noodle.
90 minutes?
Yeah, 90 minutes. So anyway, this is Dorcel, Marc Dorcel Films, Paris. And so I'd written a script, and then they changed their minds about what they wanted, so I rewrote it, and then they changed their minds again. First of all, they wanted it finishing with this woman, this MILF, shagging her best friend's daughter. Then they wanted her shagging a bloke with whom there was a lot of sexual tension. Then they didn't want the sexual tension. Then they didn't want her screwing her best friend's daughter. And then they decided that the big finish was going to be a gangbang featuring a very well-known, very beautiful American porn actress who's well-known for not even doing anal. So and this is all for 200 quid. I'm out there saving lives, up to my nipples in slime, poverty and cholera, and trying to think now, how do we get around this gangbang situation?
So you're actually writing this in your slum in Kenya?
In my slum in Kenya. Yeah.
Right? Because you don't live in luxurious hotels. You live in...
I look at them as I go past.
You did live in a crate at some point, didn't you?
No, I'm living in what do you call it? A container. But it's made into a little house. Yeah. But that's the last time. I can't live there anymore because they're demolishing the entire area. That's what happens in slums. They're not that permanent. You can go away and come back and find your house just isn't there anymore.
Can't the crate be moved? That's the thing. Crates move, don't they?
But it's not my crate. And it is being moved. It's being moved out to Rongai, which is a kind of rural area on the outskirts of Nairobi.
So you're squatting in someone else's crate?
So I'm squatting in someone else's... Well, I'm paying rent.
So hold on. So to support your charity background,
yes.
You're squatting in someone else's crate in a slum,
writing porn
scripts.
Yeah.
Good. Just thought we'd establish that. Good.
But, it's... well, tried Bono, but frankly, I found him morally reprehensible.
Is that some sort of porn term? I don't know, Bono.
Several of them around. Now,
have you ever indulged? You should co-star. You make more money, surely.
Indulged? No. I've got a couple of friends that I've roped in as extras.
When you say roped in?
Well, I said male.
When you say
two
roped
females.
in? I
say, look, do you want to come along, hang out with some stunningly gorgeous women who are going to be naked all day?
When you say hang out?
Well, it was like the Porn Week series that I did. People came along on a holiday and they got to hang out on a porn set, share a hotel with the cast and crew, and then, depending on how close you wanted to get to the action, you could either just sit and watch the scenes being shot, or you could be the lube guy. You could hold the porn box. There was a couple of movies where there were parts for extras. You got to fondle, a bit of fondling in a monk's robe.
Fluffing?
No such thing as fluffing, John.
That's a wrong word.
No, there's no fluffing.
No.
Nobody has fluffed since the 60s.
Oh, no.
They can't afford them. It used to be in the 60s that there were like, how can I put this? Munters, ugly girls who wanted to be in porn, but they would never put them in a movie. But what they would do would be have them there as fluffers, because they basically just wanted to be in porn, but, as I say, munters. And so they would get to rev the guys up. But no, generally speaking, the guys come, ready to rock, or they give themselves one off the wrist.
Well, when you said you can't get fluffers, is this because it's a highly specialised thing, like
No.
chicken sex?
They don't, no, because now, generally speaking, the budgets for porn films are so low.
£200 a script, I hear.
You cannot afford fluffers. Plus, as I say, most of the guys come ready to roll. They'll just give themselves one off the wrist.
When you say come?
Arrive, ready to roll. That was beneath you, John.
Well, the rule of three. I've done two. I thought I'd do a third one.
The Boswell of comedy. And cum puns are the best you can do. Boswell, to say nothing of Johnson, will be burling in his grave.
Burling?
Burling, it's a Scottish word. I'm allowed to use Scottish words down here, given that the Scot Nats are now the second largest party. Oh no, was it? In the House of Commons? Third largest party in the House of Commons.
But I do outrank because I'm a Highlander and I've never heard of burl.
Burl?
Is it some sort of...
B-I-R-L. It means to twirl round.
I say Beryl Reid.
Yeah, but you're not... I don't believe you're a Highlander.
Anyway.
You talk like an Englishman.
And sadly I do. I have to explain when I do.
So what did you vote?
You're not allowed to ask that.
I just did.
I always go with the winning side, obviously.
Aha.
You don't know where I voted, though. I could have been somewhere else.
No.
Anyway, so we should be doing something about comedy, I feel.
I know.
Although porn is slightly comic.
I have to say that...
you don't have to say.
Porn is not... No, I don't have to say, but I will say. Porn can be very, very funny.
Well, sex is ridiculous to begin with.
This is true. Yeah. This is true. The bit of news...
This is not always about comedy, I'd like to point out.
No, it's not always about Kenya. But it is usually about me, which some people are getting very fed up with.
No, Giada, the Italian comic, desperate to hear you.
Giada Garofalo.
Sometimes, yes.
They're wonderful, the Italian comics. Have you been to...
Not since you left. I felt it.
We have to go back.
We have to.
We have to. They're coming here. They're going to do a show in the Mama Biashara Emporium, as is the wonderful Jacinto Palmieri.
And we're talking about Il Puma Londonese.
We are.
Although apparently Giada tells me I do that in a Sicilian accent or something. So
sounds a bit Boreham Wood to me.
Anyway.
But no, the news, apart from the Royal Sprog, the other news that reached me in Kenya, and I was genuinely in the midst of poverty, devastation, mugging and cholera.
Well, you come from Glasgow.
I was very, very upset to hear that Robin Ince is giving up stand-up comedy.
Surely not. What's he doing, science?
No, apparently he's spending more time with his family or something. But it's why couldn't someone shit give up stand-up comedy?
Well, that's going to be awful for the family. The worst thing for a family is to have a stand-up comic living with them permanently. Imagine living with Lewis Schaefer. I thought I'd get him in.
Even Lewis Schaefer doesn't like living with Lewis Schaefer, which is the gist of his act, actually.
He died in Redditch this week.
Did he?
He did. It's in Facebook. You should read it occasionally.
Was it horrible?
He says he's never going to be invited back to the Redditch theatre again. Well, we shouldn't talk about Lewis Schaefer.
I would imagine the world is littered with places that he's not going to get invited back to.
Here's his wife's home, for example.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, Robin Ince.
I think it's
an obituary for Robin Ince, comedian.
I understand why he's doing it, and he says it might. He might take 2 years off. It might not be a retirement. It might be a sabbatical. So he's teasing us.
This is like Nigel Farage.
And but I think he'll be a real loss, and I think it's a shame. And as I say, I wish that one of the many shit comics who litter the industry nowadays had retired instead. I just think it's such a shame, but it's no longer really an industry for the monumentally intelligent, thinking, opinionated, politically and intellectually driven comics.
Are we talking about porn again?
No, we're talking about comedy, John.
Right.
It's comedy podcast, remember?
Oh, yes.
Comedy podcast.
I'm very old, I forget.
You're the one who said it.
Yeah.
Comedy podcast. Boswell of comedy.
Boswell. Is it
Doyen. That's us.
No, you're the Doyen and yes.
A Doyen and a Boswell.
Yeah, so I get alphabetic listed higher.
Yeah.
Is there much comedy in Kenya?
Oddly enough, yeah, it's there's loads of stand-up comedy, and one of their biggest stars is a guy called Churchill, who has a huge
That's enough, yes. So
primetime comedy show on Saturday night.
Oh, on telly.
On telly.
Hey.
It's on telly. There's lots, and there's
What's a sketch show?
no stand-up.
What, half an hour of stand-up?
No, I think it's about an hour long, but it's
bloody hell.
yeah, it's in the same way that Michael McIntyre's roadshow, sadly, on many occasions, isn't just Michael McIntyre. And
Yeah, but one stand-up for an hour is going at something, though. That's like
no, but
DVD.
that's what. Watch my lips, John. It's not just him. It's his show, but there are many stand-ups on the show introduced by him. I'm going to have this rather insipid cup of tea that you just made me.
Well, I try my best with you. I'm very
No
very bad
sugar.
Do you want some sugar?
Now, that's one of the best offers I've been made in a long, long time, John. It was just possibly the intonation that wasn't quite right.
You're going to go out more, meet people. Well, we're doing this in the Mama Biashara shop, and people are now watching from outside.
I know.
As
a matter of fact, there are more people here than there were at many of our Grouchy clubs in Edinburgh, I seem to remember.
But there was an entire family there with a small boy with a red sash over his. He looked like a young pioneer from communist days.
Well, they looked a bit Korean to me.
Oh, am I genuinely going to get you some sugar while you?
No, you're not.
No.
Well, I'd rather continue to complain about the tea.
You can complain on about other things.
Now there must have been something interesting happening in comedy.
No, in comedy, no, nothing at all. I didn't even know Robin Ince had left this mortal coil. It wasn't in Chorlton.
Oh, well, I know what else.
What?
Bloody Tommy Shepherd's an MP.
Is he?
Your eyes have gone all funny, John.
We discussed this beforehand. I can't say the line.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't. It's actionable.
I think that it's a God-given truth that all politicians are lying, weaselly bastards.
Your words, not mine.
And it's certainly a suggestion that could be put that, ergo, Tommy might fit in rather well. Having said which...
No, you're a lawyer. What are the laws?
No, I'm merely... It's just a suggestion.
Yes.
It's just a suggestion.
I think you.
Now, you said I
I'll
think
have to disassociate myself from what she said there.
that would be disassociating yourself from yourself, which I think you'll find is a psychiatric condition which could land you in an asylum.
Or on stage as a stand-up comedian.
Exactly. Good. Book your spot now.
Yes.
Did I not read something from you at one point that said something about you had high hopes of this year's Edinburgh?
Did I?
Yeah.
I think
it was somebody that you'd seen.
I'm the perfect comedy audience, because as soon as I leave somewhere, about 3 minutes later, I've forgotten what I've heard. So
you're genetically part goldfish.
I'm the genetically part comedy audience. So I've forgotten. I'm sure they were wonderful. Who have I seen this wonderful?
It was some female. Some woman, she said dismissively. Oh, no!
Well, you wouldn't like them then.
Yeah, no.
I did see Michael Brunstrom. He was great. He wore a toga.
He's the human thingy, isn't he?
No, he used to be the human Loire.
Yes,
he apparently stopped being a French river now, and he was dressed in a Roman toga, doing an act in which he said he was Mary Quant, in a true story of how she went on a whaling expedition, and he seemed to be doing it in a slightly German accent.
Okay, that sounds good.
I think that's worth a prize in its own, really.
Yes, I'm thinking we ought to get the Malcolm Hardy Awards judges out there as soon as possible.
I do like Michael Brunstrom. Anyway, I've seen lots of good women. All the good women, all the good comics at the moment tend to be women.
Really?
Well, Martin Sohn said all the really bizarre ones are women, and it's true.
Bizarre is good. Bizarre is
good. Yeah.
Now,
although bizarre and woman are the same thing. It's tautology, isn't it? Really?
I want to know.
You don't really.
I'm not the jealous type, John, as you know, but who have you been with since I've been away?
With?
On the podcast.
I think you meant in a biblical way.
You've been with other people, haven't you?
You mean you don't listen to it? There's a lovely Juliet Burton.
Oh! I knew it. You've been unfaithful.
And there was Lewis Schaefer. But he doesn't count, does he? It might have been a woman.
And who else?
I think that was it, wasn't it? Loads of dead Malcolm Hardy tapes.
Right.
There's Malcolm Hardy's funeral and Malcolm Hardy talking.
So what did you do with Juliet Burton then?
I mostly rather wantonly plugged her upcoming shows, which I realised afterwards I shouldn't really have been doing. Whereas, of course, with Lewis Schaefer, we just meandered around talking about Lewis Schaefer.
Of course.
Yeah. You mean you don't listen to you haven't listened to my podcast?
Well, they are our podcast.
Wait, you should listen to them.
I know, I don't.
It's a bit like my blog, where I never actually read my blog.
I couldn't even get online to email, John, as you know. So what are Juliet's shows? She's doing more than one.
Well, no, since she left, I think. She's doing a monthly show called Happy Hour. She's done the second one, first Tuesday of every month, at a place called Canvas in, well, they claim it's in Shoreditch. It's actually the top end of Brick Lane.
Yeah.
And it's the first in a series of happy cafes in which they're going to be terribly positive and eat positive food and do positive
Woman who
things.
spent her life, half her life being clinically depressed. I suppose that's it. Is that the point?
Well,
happy hour?
No, she introduces it
Satire.
by saying this is the happy hour. It lasts 2 hours, and it's a comedy show presented by a woman who's clinically depressed. So she answers this, I think.
I read that lovely Yorick Moo.
He's gone with his boyfriend to Brighton, that's all I know.
He had something on Facebook about wanting to do an hour of comedy about depression. It's the big thing now, really, isn't it? Depression. It's been quite a big thing for quite a long time.
Only since my blog. I think I've highlighted the importance of depression in comedy and in reading blogs.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think everyone in comedy is mad to a certain extent, otherwise they wouldn't be comedians.
Well, yes, it's not normal. Well, either mad or because people go into comedy for different reasons, mainly obviously for the sex and the fame and the money.
Look at the coke. Yes.
But there are the ones I can't believe, for example, that Robin Ince went into comedy for the sex and the drugs and the fame. He went into it because he had shit to say. And it's kind of the divide line. There are comics who just want to say stuff, and that was how the alternative lot started, because they had political stuff to say. And now it's kind of come more than full circle, and we're back to a whole load of young people, all of the people who just want to be famous and applauded and really have got fuck all to say.
Yes. Well, no, there is a dividing line, though, isn't there? I mean, there are the sort of all those scientific people, always going all about science. There's the factual ones and there's some slight political ones, and then just the random ones. I think I feel a bit random at the moment.
I'm just.
It's coming to an end, this, isn't it?
Do you think? Well, I don't know. I think that
you want a rule?
The election might be food for comedy.
Well, no. I had two people say to me in my increasingly prestigious blog, but of course I've forgotten what they said. But it was all about how Margaret Thatcher was actually responsible for alternative comedy, not because people disagreed with her policies, but because there was quite good social money to be had. You got paid to do nothing, and if you could actually sit at home and be a comedian.
Yes.
I don't think you didn't earn enough money to be taxed on it. So in fact, there was Margaret Thatcher started a financial reason to be a comedian. And I can't remember the logic, but it is quite good logic. You can always read my ancient blogs.
So really, with all the welfare cuts, there's probably no more comedians coming up, because nobody's going to be able to sit at home doing nothing and getting paid for it.
Allegedly.
Which is why all the up-and-coming comedians are middle-class, irritating people, or posh boys with dangerous hair, whose daddies and mummies can pay for them to sit at home scribbling nonsense on an iPad.
They always were, though. I mean, Beyond the Fringe and Monty Python were all sort of those sort of people. They were all Oxbridge people. I think Monty Python was totally Oxbridge, wasn't it?
Yes.
One or the other.
Yeah, but that wasn't stand-up.
Well, no, but
she said, frantically trying to shore up her obviously shaky argument.
No, but they were the vanguard of the new comedy.
Were they? I thought Alexis Sale was supposed to be the vanguard of the new comedy.
No, I mean, in the late 1950s, it was Beyond the Fringe brought in new comedy. Then Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, not at all. No,
that was funny in its own way.
It was, yes. Russ Meyer, sadly forgotten. We're back
Russ
to porn again.
Meyer. Faster Pussycat, Kill, Kill. Oh my God, the man was a genius.
No, the Beyond the Valley of the Dolls was cracking. I think was it Beyond the Valley of the Ultra?
There were many cracks in it, as I seem to remember.
Beyond the Valley of the Ultra Vixens, I seem to remember was crap because he read his own reviews or something.
Yes.
He was a bit overly conscious. But I reckon anyone listening who hasn't seen it, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls is a cracker.
And as is Faster Pussycat, Kill, Kill.
I think I have seen that.
It's glorious.
It's worth it for the title, isn't it?
It's glorious. And it sounds so good. What's your favourite film? Well, I think it has to be Russ Meyer's Faster Pussycat, Kill, Kill.
Just for the title.
Absolutely.
When you do your porn writing, because I think this is interesting, do you suggest the titles?
No. Because they always have something hideous. And, even I draw the line at... But what I did one time was I put a working title on a film that I wrote, and I just called it. I thought, fuck! I just called it Snow Sluts. It was shot in the Swiss Alps. Very posh, but it was about skiing and all that. So I just called it Snow Sluts. Next thing you know, there we are, the cover of the DVD, Snow Sluts.
Yes.
So that's maybe I should just.
I've never seen the film. The film I always wanted to see was originally released as Snow White and the Seven Perverts.
Ah, yes.
And then Disney threatened to sue because they claimed they had copyright on Snow White, which I think is a bit dubious.
Possibly
but the producers then changed Snow White and the Seven Perverts to Someday My Prince Will Come.
Marv, even better.
I thought these people are my sort of people.
Even better. Because the ones that are fun to make up are all the parody ones, Shaving Ryan's Privates. And all those ones, they're hilarious. I mean, that's a great kind of.
What's the plot of Shaving?
Well, it's supposed to, all of them are very loosely based on the original films. So that is very loosely based on Saving Private Ryan.
So in wartime France...
We're recording a podcast here. We'll be done in a minute. We're recording a podcast. We will be done in a minute.
People are queuing up.
It's just unbelievable. Okay, they should... Oh my God! Oh, they're my Swiss ladies. I have to let them in.
She has to go and see her
Should we
Swiss
finish
lady.
now? You carry on.
I think we should
I'll
finish
be back
now.
in a minute.
No, that's it. We're going to finish now.
They speak Italian. It's the only reason I'm letting them in.